Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is Ajaz from Team R Voice. Today we are here with you once again with our second webinar on the topic parenting during the coronavirus lockdown. And with us today we have our very special guest, Dr. Sana Khilji. She's from Aurangabad. She's a neuropsychiatrist, been practicing for past 10 years and she's currently associated with the Happy Family Hospital in Aurangabad. Dr. Sana is also an author of two books, namely Women's Psychiatry World and Know Your Child. The session setup is going to be Dr. Sana will be speaking for about 20-30 minutes on the topic, and then we'll open it up for questions, and that's how we will proceed with this session. I would like to thank you all once again for joining. With this, Dr. Sana, over to you. Please go ahead and start.
Assalamu alaikum. The topic for today is parenting during this lockdown. I believe that parenting is the most difficult job, and this lockdown is a very good opportunity for everyone here to do parenting in the best possible manner because everyone's around. Both the parents are there, children are there, and this can be done if planned properly. It can be done in a very nice manner. And we usually don't get opportunities like this. It's really a tough time for everyone out here. But then at the same time, if we look at the positive side, we never get time like this to spend with our families together. And we should utilize this time and do parenting in the best possible manner. I would like to start with what are the common parenting styles that usually people adopt? There are multiple parenting styles, but the four most common parenting styles that usually people adopt are: one is the authoritarian style, where the rules are very strict, the parent is very firm, and no inflexible rules are there. It has to be just my way, the parent's way, and very strict punishment is there if the child does not obey. Then the second parenting style is neglectful parenting, which usually unknowingly happens in most cases because the parents are not available. The child is unknowingly neglected. The third parenting style is permissive. The parents are very much permissive, either of the parent. Like, I just cannot put any restrictions on my child. I love my child very much. That's usually the attitude. But all these three are faulty parenting styles. What usually happens is the outcome of these parenting styles is the child becomes depressed in later life, is irritable, has difficulty controlling moods, and usually some of the other psychiatric problem does occur in later life. The best parenting style that one needs to consciously adopt, is authoritative parenting style. In this, there are firm rules. Along with this, the parent is loving and responsive. Both the things are there. The children are given the opportunity to make decisions. The joint decision making along with parents is there. Children, their opinion is given importance, and they're allowed to speak. It's usually a joint thing between both the parents and the child. What usually happens is one parent is very strict, the other parent is very permissive, or the parents are neglectful. So we have to be conscious that we have to adopt the authoritarian parenting style. Not authoritarian, authoritative parenting style, where it's firm along with loving. And the rules have to be fixed. It just cannot be like his way, my way. There have to be some rules, and the child and the parent, they have to go according to that. And what usually I would suggest, there are some common ways to mold your child. What usually parents do is, both the parents don't have time in today's busy world. So what happens when the child is very troublesome or not listening? At that time, they usually use harsh punitive measures, or when the child is not listening, usually there's physical punishment. But that is not right. There are we call them behavior therapies. There are some ways to mold your child. In that, the very first I would tell is rewarding. These behavior techniques or ways to mold your child, they do not give you results in a day. They have to be followed for months and years together, and gradually they shape the child's behavior. They bring changes in the child's behavior, and they have a long-lasting effect. No immediate results and no immediate changes or whatsoever in any form, but on a long term, and they have to be followed consistently. Like in rewarding, what you do is, if a child does a desired behavior, At the end of the behavior, you reward the child with hugs, with praise, with small gifts. It could be anything, but consistently. Every time the child does that desired behavior, he has to be or she has to be rewarded in any manner. That has to be decided by the parent, like what the child appreciates. It can vary from child to child. The opposite of this is response cost. If a child does some undesired behavior, for example, the child does not do the class homework, or the child does not listen to you, or is using excessive mobile or television or gadgets whatsoever. At the end, here response cost. What we do is we remove the desired behavior, the reward. We remove the reward if there is some undesired behavior. So there we are rewarding for desired behavior. Here we are removing the reward for the undesired behavior. So automatically what happens is gradually, this is classical conditioning. Gradually over time what happens is the undesired behavior gradually goes off, because the child knows if I do this a particular behavior, automatically my reward, whatever I was going to get, that's going to get cancelled. So the child automatically stops over a period of time. And same in rewarding, what happens is if you keep on rewarding the child unknowingly starts believing, okay, I'm being appreciated for this every time, so I'm going to do this. It's usually at an unconscious level that things start working. And the third is timeout. What we do is, if there is again an undesired behavior, like if the child hits a sibling, what we do is we make the child sit in the corner of the room. From the activities he had access to, they are stopped. He was playing, whatever he was doing, he cannot do anything for a particular period of time. He has to sit in the corner. They're not using harsh physical punishment anywhere. It's just behavior techniques, but they are gradual. Over a period of time, they bring changes. And apart from this, there's something that really works. It may sound that it does not work, but it really works. Well, I tried in many patients, many children. I use in my children even, that this token economy. What you do is, you have to give them stars, but you have to do it on a daily basis. Like today, the child is going to get, he helps you in the household chores, he's going to get you're going to give him some 5 points. He prays for that, he's going to get some 5 points. If he hits a sibling, he's going to get minus stars. And if apart from this, if he behaves nicely, is obedient to you, again he gets some points for that. You can decide, like for this, all these desired behaviors, they're going to get these many stars and plus stars, and for these undesired behaviors, these many minus stars. That's how we give them. And you total them at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and then the child can cash in for a prize. It can be going somewhere, it can right now in lockdown down that's not possible, so gifting him something that's possible in the house, or whatever he wants, some time on the tab or time on the computer, on the television, that can be whatever that's possible for you right now. So he can be rewarded with that at the end. But this has to be consistently followed. The child helps you, you give him points. The child beats a sibling, you might deduct those stars. Automatically the child knows, okay, I'm going to lose my points because of this, and he stops doing that behavior. It's not overnight again, gradually, it is a gradual process. It takes many days together for changes to come. But it can be, and since y'all are available right now 24/7 with the children, that's possible. You can do it throughout the day, right from the beginning. You set a timetable for the child, like, okay, you get up early in the morning, you sleep at this particular time, again you get positive points for that. Then stars for that. If you pray in the morning, then if you help in the breakfast, you get points. You help in the cleaning, mopping, you get points. Apart from that, if you don't watch television much, again you get points. You have to have a fixed time. Okay, this 1 hour you're going to watch television, and again points in that. So you don't hit each other, you don't fight with each other, you share with each other, you are honest. Again, on every little thing, you have to inculcate things in the child. If you tell the child you have to be honest, the child is not going to listen. And it makes no difference to him. But okay, you've been honest today, you're going to get stars for this. You shared with your brother, so you're going to get stars for this. Automatically the child realizes, okay, I'm going, and he doesn't know what's right or wrong at this stage, a young child especially. Gradually, the reward that he gets is the only motivation initially, but gradually changes do occur. And apart from this, in molding a child, what you need to do is, again, calm discipline. Discipline is a must. I cannot discipline my child, no. Discipline is a must, but no harsh physical punishment. That's important, because what happens in physical punishment, immediately you get results. The child is not listening, you beat the child remains quiet. But in the law, the child only wants to avoid beating. What exactly is the message, what you want to stop, that behavior changes do not occur. Maybe the child starts doing that hiding behind you do not know. So, and the child develops some sort of negative feelings towards the parent, whosoever is harsh in physical punishment. So again, I would suggest you, and there are many studies as far as this is concerned, so you have to discipline the child, but in a healthy, positive manner rather than going in for physical punishments. So apart from this, you need to set a timetable for the child, and the child has to, even if it's vacations, you need to have a timetable if you want to the child to function in a better manner, and you want to implement your parenting strategies there. So everything has to be in a, so first thing is you need to have timetable for yourselves. If you are like, it's lockdown, we can sleep anytime, we can get up anytime, do whenever we want to. No, it has to be a disciplined life. Whether it's, even if it's lockdown, you have to have, okay, you can be a bit more flexible than your usual routine, but you need to have a timetable for yourself. Automatically the child imitates. That's what we call imitational learning. What the younger children do is, usually they do not know what's right and wrong. The very first people they imitate in their lives is their parents. So parents do not know that their child is imitating them, and unknowingly the child is learning many things which the parents are not even aware of. So you have to be the best role models for your child. Gradually you will observe, okay, I've been doing this way, my son does this in a similar manner. I have been speaking to my spouse like this. I have been speaking in a manner like this to my maids. My child speaks like this to his brother. So you have to mold the way you behave, very first thing. And automatically, gradually, as the child grows, he'll start imitating his peers and maybe television or whatever he sees, or whatever, or whosoever people he comes across. But the very first teachers are the parents. So you have to modify your behavior. If you want your child to share things with a sibling, you have to demonstrate sharing with your spouse. Every little thing you have to demonstrate. Okay, I'm without telling, like, I'm demonstrating this. You have to, okay, I'm sharing this with my. It's good to share, and we are happy sharing with your spouse, with your other family members. You have to share. You have to speak respectfully. You have to demonstrate caring to your spouse. Automatically your child learns. And what usually the parents do is, when the child does not behave nicely, either mother, father, whosoever, they'll abuse the child, they'll speak verbally abuse, they'll speak in a bad manner, they'll belittle the child, degrade the child. But that again is a very unhealthy pattern of parenting. What usually happens is, the child may keep quiet, but later on he has a poor self-image of himself or herself. And maybe when the child grows up, he starts belittling others, or maybe the parents themselves. Because you have been doing that at an earlier stage, and you are not even aware, okay, I'm very much tired, I have got to do so much work in the house, so I'm tired and my children are not listening at the end of the day. I don't have a choice but to shout at them or beat them. No, that's not the same. Take them in your household work. They'll help you. Give them points for that, or reward them for that. They're going to help you, and they are going to learn, okay, we have to share responsibility. We don't have to be selfish. If they see their parents sharing responsibilities, tomorrow they are going to share responsibilities with you. So you have to demonstrate, you have to be the ideal role model. It's but natural, parents are going to have conflicts among themselves, arguments among themselves, but that has to be behind the children. In front of them, you have to behave in a very nice manner, and you don't have most of the people who are attending this, it's those who work on daily wages, they are the ones who stress the most. But the people who are attending this, I suppose, they usually have reserves. They can manage when at home. So this time you put in your best. You are not stressed because of your work right now. You express yourself. You try to be the best version of what you are, and behave in the best possible manner. No, I have to be an ideal parent. I have to demonstrate, even at times if you go wrong, okay, I behave like that and it was wrong. You have to acknowledge that in front of your children. I did that in a wrong manner and I'm not supposed to do like that. I was unable to manage my emotions in that particular situation and I have to change my behavior in that particular aspect. Other aspects I'm good at. This is my weakness. I'm going to work on it. I have issues with anger. Okay, I'm going to work on it. So I need your help. I need your support, children. If you all support me, I'm going to really be able to come out of it. And they're going to they're going to be there. They're going to help you. They'll understand that okay, everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and you need to work together as a family to get out of these weaknesses and to overcome them. So that is what is imitational learning. And parents, and apart from parents, the biggest thing we have left our children with for imitation is television and mobile phones unknowingly, and that's the sad part of the story. But what happens today is most of the women, they are there when I come across, speak to my patients or my friends, the women are there in the kitchen doing the household stuff and all, and the children are behind watching the television throughout the day or playing games on the mobile phones. That's how it is in the lockdown especially, but that should not be the story. We should have it other way around. Take your children to help you. You play with them. You have time. If you take them to help you, automatically the time remains. If you have a timetable, time remains. Sit with them, play with them, and they won't be left with the television all the time. In television, what happens is, usually, I'll tell you a few examples. What happened? There was a boy. He was brought to me maybe around 1.5 years back. His parents brought him to me, and he was having tremors at that time, and he had very poor grades in his school. I think so. He was in fourth standard that time, and his parents brought him to me, and they were like, "Okay, these are the complaints. I don't know why. We don't know why he has developed these tremors, and he is not able to study at all. He used to get A plus, and all of a sudden he's failing in studies. We are really troubled by this. Like, why this is happening?" And then I spoke to him for 2-3 sessions, and then finally, what happened was he told me during one of our conversations, like, okay, actually at that time there was load shedding in Aurangabad, and he would not get television for a particular duration when he was used to. He used to watch it throughout the day. So, and he used to start getting tremors. Like, if I'm able to see, I'm fine. If I'm not able to see, I get those tremors. So he was addicted to it in a form. And he said, I don't know why my parents want me to get good grades. I am I watched my favorite. I like, which cartoon is your favorite one? He said like, the Doraemon is my favorite. And in that, which is your favorite character? He was like, Nobita is my favorite character. And that Nobita gets 0 marks. I don't know why my parents want me to get good grades. I want to be like Nobita. I want to get 0 marks. That was really, I was amazed. Like, okay, I have n number of examples like these, where when I deal with patients, they are just imitating the television. All those children who trouble their mothers, when I ask them like, okay, which is your favorite cartoon? The very first I get is Shin Chan. I literally sat and watched that Shin Chan cartoon. What exactly is there in that? That Shin Chan is a child who makes every possible effort to trouble his mother. We do not know what we are leaving our children with. The child is watching cartoon. There's nothing wrong in it. We are doing our work. No, you have left, the child does not know what is right and wrong at this stage. And without him knowing the right thing, you have left him to decide. Whatever the character is, whatever he finds impressionable, he's imitating that particular character. So he's like, oh, okay, we are giving him so much of moral education, but where is he learning all this from? All those children who fight, who have quarrels, you go into their history. You'll get Avengers or one of those cartoons where they fight is their favorite cartoons. So these children are imitating those cartoons, and we are not even aware of like what we are leaving our children with. So I'm not telling do not give the television or the mobile phones to the children. Give it, but it has to be censored. It has to be supervised. In your presence, you have to sit and tell this is right and this is wrong. Okay, fine. You can see a cartoon together with your children. And like, okay, fine, this is wrong, this character is nice, this character is wrong, this particular thing he's doing is wrong, this particular thing the other character is doing is right. You have to teach your child, or else the child does not know, okay, whatever he feels, okay, I like the colors, so this character is impressionable. That's how he takes it. So You, as far as the television and the mobile phone is concerned, you have to restrict your time. You have to, it has to be supervised, and I think so. We'll come to that in the question answer session. How to keep your kids engaged during the lockdown. If you have a timetable for them and you plan throughout the day, there are many things that can be done. And this television or mobile phones are not the only things that they're left with. Apart from this, I'd like to tell you something about multiple intelligence. What our education system does today is it measures only the linguistic and mathematical intelligence. There is Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, which tells that there are many types of intelligence. You must have seen, okay, one of my child is good at music, and the other child is good with nature, or the other child is good with body movements. One child is good with language, the other child is good with maths. So that means all the children are not the same. Every child is unique, every child is different, and God has created them different. God has given them different abilities. It's the parents who need to work out, who need to find out, okay, my child is good at this. I need to work more on this. These are areas, okay, even if he's average and he fares well, it's okay, but this is his potential. Education is a Latin word where E means from within and ducos is to go ahead. It is to go ahead from within with your potential and not just by force. Today, what the education system does, that's the sad part, again, that they measure only the linguistic and the mathematical intelligence. If you're good in language, if you can mug up things well, if you're good with calculations, you top the class. That's how that usually happens when you get good grades. But that's not the only type of intelligence. Definitely, if they are good, the child can excel in studies and you need to work on those skills. But apart from this also, there are other intelligences like kinesthetic intelligence. A child may be good with body movements, through physical activity, sports. He can be taught things. And what potential the child has, if he does that, he gets satisfaction out of that. If a child is not good at something, okay, someone is bad with his body, kinesthetic intelligence, and he's forcefully made to exercise, he can do it for a while, okay, for his health, but cannot do for a very long time or cannot excel very much in sports. But if a child who's good at it, you can engage that child throughout the day in different sports activities and different physical activities. A child good with naturalistic intelligence, like these are children who love nature. You can engage with them with different plants, animals, vegetables, all this stuff. Whatever the child finds interesting, it may vary a bit from every child to child. So the child is good at this intelligence. He will find interest and more fun in doing things because he knows he has the aptitude. You're just brushing it up. But if you do not give the opportunity to the child to do in that particular area, and you're just forcing on, okay, you have to do these maths calculations, you have to do this writing of essays or whatsoever. No. Again, there is interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal is people good with relationships between themselves, between other people. And intrapersonal is these children are good at doing activities themselves. They can sit alone for hours together, they can write, they can do stuff, but it has to be alone. This is intrapersonal intelligence. And some children with interpersonal means that involves other children. So you can involve them with other children, get them do things with other children. And I said about musical intelligence, I said kinesthetic, intrapersonal, interpersonal, naturalistic intelligence, linguistic intelligence, and mathematical intelligence. So these are the different types, common types of intelligence. A child may enjoy doing cooking. Maybe he's a boy, but there's nothing wrong in that. Okay, he has that aptitude. A girl may not cook so well because she does not have that aptitude. So it has got nothing to do with that. You find, and you engage them in these activities. You find your child's intellect, what he's good at, and get him engaged into that. So he'll enjoy the activity as it is. The child is not going to trouble you much. And as far as playing with the children is concerned, you have to sit. It's indoor time most of the time. So you have to sit inside. You have to play games, whichever is accessible to you right now. It can be snakes and ladders. It can be Ludo, Carom, or it can be chess. Anything the child enjoys and you enjoy. But while playing, you have to teach the child honesty. You have to teach the child it's okay to lose. It's not important to win. It's important to be honest. So these things, if you have a whole day, you have 24 hours. Apart from sleeping, it's like, okay, maybe 16 hours, 15 hours a day. You have to demonstrate to your child in every little thing you do. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate him this by my behavior. We are going to demonstrate him or her this in our behavior. Automatically, changes will come in the child. It's not going to be okay. You giving lectures for hours together, it's going to make no difference. It has to be in your behavior. The child, okay, I idealize my mother, I idealize my father, and automatically the child is the child you want, or else the child is someone you. Usually it happens like when teenagers are there, parents go to them, get to them. Okay, now you have to listen to this. These are the rules. Oh, what shit? I am not going to listen to all this. You never gave me time earlier, and all of a sudden you want me to listen to you. This is just not possible for me. That is what happens in most of the cases. So it is the young age, the tender age, where you have to give time, your attention. The thing that children crave the most is your attention. You have to attend to them. You have to give your time. You have to give your undivided attention to them. Both the parents, I mean here, and all the aspects. It's not just the mother's duties, both the parents together, every little thing. You have to be together. You have to demonstrate that to your children, and inshallah you'll get better children tomorrow, who will listen to you, who will be obedient to you, who will be better human beings tomorrow. And children are the best gift that God has given us, to all the parents. And it is you who have to mold them. The way you mold them, they are going to be that way. And it's huge responsibility on every one of us to mold our children. Other things, they may come, they may go, your work, you can reduce the hours, you can, your other priorities, you can divide them. But this, once, if you lose your children, the way they behave, their morals, if anything goes wrong, you cannot get it back. So this is the most important treasure, the best investment you can do today is invest in your child. And especially in this lockdown period, I would tell, you cannot invest anywhere right now. So the best investment you can do today is invest in your child, and you get the results, inshallah, for a lifetime. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you so much. Dr. Sana, we have a couple of questions here which our participants have already submitted to us. And for
Okay.
all those who have joined us, I would like to request you if you can put your questions under the Q&A section, or you can put it on the chat as well, whichever way works for you. And we'll try our best to get them answered by Dr. Sana. Dr. Sana, here's the first question. Let me take it from the list for now. How to keep the kids engaged during the lockdown?
Some pirated refer, but I tell you in detail. Actually, I wanted to tell you that I have a book also I've written, which was told initially, Know Your Child. It's available on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. You can go there, you can read there. And coming to the question, how do we keep our kids engaged? That's really a tough job. They are going to trouble you. They don't have work. Parents really feel liberated when the children go to school. So no schools around. So again, the very first key to that is you need to have a timetable. Get up at a fixed time, sleep at a fixed time. After getting up, you have your prayers together. This is the best time. Whole family can have prayers together. Then in the cleaning, mopping, let the kids do that. It's physical workout for them. You all can have an exercise routine together. You all can exercise together. And after that, you go into the kitchen, you do your cooking stuff. Let the children do the cleaning, mopping stuff. Laundry, they can help you with the washing machine, folding clothes, and all. Do that. You engage them with the household stuff. They're going to be busy. If you take like, okay, I am going to do all the household stuff, and my children are going to sit and they are going to trouble you. They are going to do a lot of mischief. They are going to trouble you like anything. They're going to learn a lot of unwanted things from the television, the mobile phones. So the very first thing, get them engaged in your household stuff, because you are doing it. And share your responsibility with your spouses. The husband and the wife need to work together. Even if it's work from home, that has a fixed number of hours. Apart from that, both the parents can work together. So you all have to work, get them engaged in your house, then sit with them. Play with them. I already told you the games that whichever is possible for you, accessible for you indoors, sit with them. Play with them. As a family, both the parents, children, you all sit together, you all play together. That will be wonderful time. You all will cherish it for a lifetime. And apart from that, then again let them watch television, but you sit together. Sit and watch. Do something that does not require you to be in the kitchen or somewhere else. Do some of your work like that. Sit with them and you also watch what they're watching. And in the end, some very good cartoons. It's not that all the cartoons are bad. Some cartoons are really good, educative. You can watch the National Geographic channel. You can watch, even if religious education is concerned, usually my children watch that Ikra cartoons. They are all prophet stories. Religious education, if you sit and give them sermons for hours, they're not going to listen. So, okay, religious education, moral education also has to be there. You sit with them for 15 minutes, half an hour, okay. Today we are going to discuss the story. And then you can watch that story on Ikra cartoons, or you can watch that Abdul Bari, a wonderful way of presenting things, teaching morals to the kids, and then fix some time for reading. Okay, children, those who love reading, can read even if they don't. I think so. I have given a huge collection to these people on our website. They'll be displaying in the end of all the storybooks which children can read, comics they can read, and whatever interests them they can read, or they can buy from online also, whatever is possible right now in the lockdown. And in the evening you can, again, if terrace is possible or outdoor, and if you have garden, you can play outside also. And again in the evening you get them into the kitchen with you, let them do the household stuff. And what your child isn't, if your child isn't good with cooking, let him cook, let him assist you. If the child is good with cleaning, let him clean. Find out what your child is good at and let him excel in that, and he'll enjoy doing that. He won't find it cumbersome or something like that. So, and again throughout the day, keep giving them rewards for that, giving them stars for that. And at the end of the lockdown, okay, you have a big prize for this at the end of the month or whatever it is. So that's how, if you keep you have a plan and you go accordingly. And for very first thing, you have to have a timetable for yourself. And according, I hope I answered the question.
Yes, thank you, doctor. And how to keep the kids engaged during work from home time and long official calls in odd hours. Okay, so there is an addition to it, that work from home time, the work hours, and the long official calls during the odd hours. Anything that you want to add to this
Okay.
answer? Yeah.
During when you're free, okay, I know how you're going to keep them engaged, but work from home. During the work from home hours, what they can engage, you have a timetable for those hours for them also. They can engage in reading. You can give them, okay, in these hours you're going to do the cleaning, mopping of the house, or you can fold the clothes, or whatever. You have a timetable for them, things which can be done in your absence. Give them a timetable for that. And if they do that well, when you finish your work, you're going to play with them. That's going to be the reward. And all the children love to play with parents, nothing like it. So again, things that can be done in your absence, you need, or give them some assignment subject your child is weak at, or some art and craft, some drawing, whatever your child loves. Or maybe he has difficulty writing a particular subject, give him some assignment, okay, you have to finish this and I'll check it at the end of this. So you again plan things accordingly, which can be done in your absence, the child will enjoy. Orders, again, orders means
Or hours like after work hours, like late hours calls and things.
late hours
Yeah.
calls. I think your child should sleep by that time. If you have a timetable, you're working in the odd hours, your child is sleeping. He has to sleep or she has to sleep at that time. If you have a timetable, the child will go to sleep.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Moving on to our next question. This is from the list which people have already submitted. Can you talk a little bit about the phone de-addiction? And this includes there are other questions also which talks about TV addiction and screen addiction per se. So, talk to us a little bit about that, please.
So television addiction, mobile addiction, that's the biggest hurdle for every parent, I suppose, today, because that problem was not there with our previous generations. These things did not exist in, for like cartoons were not there 24/7, mobile phones were not available 24/7. Even if the parents engage the child, they can't be so creative all the time, so energetic, with so much fun, so much colors, every time new things. That is what the mobile and television offers. So it's really tough, but you have to start with, okay, if you have to do the addiction, the very first thing is we do motivational interview. We motivate the child. So you have to tell the hazards of the mobile phone, whatever the hazards are. You can Google it, you can get different educative material on that, share with that, speak to your children about that, discuss. And very first thing, you have to decrease your own screen time. I'm going to use mobile for any amount of time. I'm telling my children, you don't have to use it, doesn't work. I'm using television and I'm giving my children, telling them not to use it. You have to use, but again, restricted, supervised, censored, fixed time. And you have to tell the hazards of television. And we'll go back to the first question, you keep them engaged throughout the day. If they're free, they don't have anything to, okay, we don't have anything, we are going to see television and play games on the mobile phone or whatsoever. But if they're busy throughout the day, they have only just 1 hour left or 2 hours left for that particular thing, automatically they won't do. But if they have nothing, so keep them engaged, keep them busy. And that's the only way. You have to find other interests. Some love to play, some love to do art and craft, painting, whatever your child is good at. Work on his multiple intelligence. Let him do that more and involve him. Everyone is not having maids right now, I suppose, because of the lockdown, and everyone is doing their work on their own. Get them engaged in the household things. Automatically, their free time is less. And children who are a bit mischievous, hyperactive, for them, I tell you, uh, make them do a lot of workout, or like there's a trampoline, make them do a fixed number of jumps. All their energy is going to get exhausted, and they're not going to trouble you all the time. What happens is the child is troubling the 24. We don't have a better babysitter these days than television and mobile phone, so we put that on and make the children sit in front of them. So, but that's not the solution. We have to find other ways to engage our children, teach them their hazards, and be better role models. I think I answered.
Thank you, doctor. Moving on to the next one. How to control our anger when children do wrong things.
How to control our anger when children do wrong things. What happens is, first check yourself. Do I get angry on everyone, or is it I'm getting angry only on my children? Most of the parents feel that it's okay to get angry on children because they cannot retaliate. They are someone below us. They don't have that much energy. They don't have that much power. They're not that influential at this stage. So they cannot do anything to us in return. So that's why it's okay to shout at them. And that is the human side. Whenever a person feels this person is below me, or I have power over this person, they usually use physical punishment, or they can shout at them or belittle them. That's how the human brain works. But if you treat them as, okay, if I'm getting angry with everyone, means I have issues with anger. I need to work on my anger. I need to learn anger management. But if I'm not getting angry on everyone, I'm just getting angry on my child, it means I need to change my thinking. The way I perceive my child. Just think what your child has become, is going to become. Okay, my child, you want your child to be a doctor. Would you treat a doctor when your child becomes a doctor in that manner? No. And so treat him the way you want him to become right now, so that tomorrow he retains that respect for you. Tomorrow he's not going to respect you anymore if you don't give him respect today. And children are bound to make mistakes. You have to change your thinking. No, my child has to be all perfect. They are in a learning process. They are bound to make mistakes. And if they are making mistakes, where is it that they're going wrong? Where is it that you are going wrong? You have to introspect yourself. You have to introspect your family system. Whatever is happening in the family, what you are demonstrating, or where the child is learning that, get to the source and try to correct that source rather than scolding your child. If you change the way you perceive, like, okay, I have right to, I can do anything to my child. No, you don't have that right. If you change that thinking, if you change that mindset, automatically that anger goes off. Then when I see patients, what happens usually is like, women come to me, I'm like, we are very irritable and all. I'm like, what do you do when you are irritable? You do nothing. I'm like, you must be doing something. We shout at kids, we beat kids. Like, okay, do you shout at other people also? Do you shout at your husband? Do you shout at your mother-in-law? No, how is that possible? How can you do that? If you can control your anger there, how you can control your anger here also? So all you need is a change in your mindset. Okay, we don't have that right. We need to use other behavior modifying techniques, other ways to model your child, which I already told you, like rewarding, timeout, response calls, timetable, and ignoring certain behaviors, calm discipline. Automatically your child's behavior is going to change, but you need to have lots of patience because that's going to require a lot of time. It's not going to be overnight. And that's the way you can control your anger. And if still after everything you are unable to control, you need some psychiatric medications which control anger. You may be depressed, you may be having some other anxiety or something that needs to be addressed along with that. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, doctor. We have another question here. It says, how to manage toddlers who wanted to explore and no play activities as they are restricted to residential flats. So this is mainly related to people living in cities do not have any play areas in the house. So how do you manage the toddlers, especially in such cases?
Manage one thing, yes, it's closed space, little, you cannot take them out, but toddlers cannot go on their own out either. They have to be managed in the house itself. They don't have a choice. Maybe you can take them for an outing once in a while, but most of the times they need to be managed in the house only. So you need to find again activities your child enjoys and keep him or her engaged. And what I would like to tell specifically is the bonding, the attachment that forms is usually when the child is a toddler between the parent and the child. If the child has a secure attachment, um, the child is usually in their later lives they are usually emotionally stable, balanced. If the child has an insecure attachment, means that the parents are there sometimes, sometimes they're not there, or inconsistently they're present, absent. So the child is a bit becomes develops an avoidant type of attachment pattern, and which later on leads to emotional problems. So again, disorganized attachment patterns and all these things do occur if the parents are not. You have to be available for your child. Again, your work, do it divided in a divided manner. Let the other parent take care of the child. Keep him engaged in some activities. When the child is sleeping, don't let them sleep during the night, during the whole day, or else they'll keep you awake at night. Keep them awake during the day, automatically they'll sleep at night, and then you can have shifts, divide their taking care their care in shifts and all, whatever games they play, and you can play with them.
Thank you, doctor. This one question here says, my children do not eat properly. They always complain of headache and abdomen pain.
Children do not eat properly, again that's a difficult area for a lot of mothers. So what your child likes, you have to work on that, and then accordingly you have to develop. Like if your child cannot, you cook spicy food in the house and your child doesn't like spicy food, okay, modify. Cook for the rest of the house, but you can cook one particular dish or the same dish without putting any pepper in that. You can cook, or any without chili in that. You can cook accordingly. You have to find what your child enjoys. It is you have to do a lot of homework, and I would suggest like this. Right now we have this YouTube. We don't need to go to those cooking classes and all and learn. Every day you have new recipes from around the world, and you can experiment. You can try everything with your children. Let them get involved in cooking, and what your child loves. Okay, he loves this particular vegetable. He loves, usually kids love potatoes. So okay, he loves potatoes, so I'm going to make a number of dishes with potatoes. Let him have that, and other things I'll just put it as a flavoring thing, so he'll enjoy that. Or even you have to find out what your child loves. It cannot be a general answer for every child, but what your child loves, okay, he must be liking these 3 4 vegetables, or whatever he likes, cheese, butter, you can put that in. You have to keep on experimenting a lot, and automatically you'll get solutions. Okay, my child loves this, and they'll start eating. But what usually parents do is, okay, I eat this, my child should also eat this. That usually doesn't occur in all the cases. Does occur in most of the cases, but not always. So those children who have difficulty eating, get them off the junk food first. Teach them the hazards of junk food. You need to have a healthy, let them have a lot of physical exercise, let them play. Automatically they'll feel hungry, and then let them have. And pain in abdomen, you have to be specific. If it's not because of having food, okay, or maybe if there's something more, you need to investigate.
Thank you, doctor. There's one more question here from our participants. Tell me something about joint family. If one child is not listening his parents and his elder in the family, then what should we do with them? And there are 5 children in this case.
Okay, it's just all the 4 children are listening, but one child is not listening. Maybe this child has some problem. You have to go into the depth. Like, okay, maybe this child is a bit emotionally disturbed, is has difficulty in his studies, or doesn't get along well with. There's something called social intelligence that we need to work on. How he behaves with others. Does he get along well with others? Is he? Some children have this inherent in them. Like, okay, they are very good with that. They are able to get along well with peers, and they are able to get along with other people. But some people are not, some children are not good at that. You need to work on that social intelligence, and you need to find out the cause, whether okay, basically he has problem, or there is some proper issue. Is anyone beating him? Is anyone troubling him? Or some Is there aggressive punishment because he does not listen? He is being punished physically or treated badly, belittled, and that's why it has become a vicious cycle. So he feels that he's out of place and he's behaving like that. So you need to work on the child, and if you are unable to work, you can, once the lockdown is over, you can take help of any psychiatrist.
Okay, thank you, doctor. There's one more question coming up from our participants. It says, my son is 11 years old and he's very sensitive kid. He has been sulking due to the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. We have done multiple activities to keep him engaged, board games, household chores, dedicated family time, etc. But the minute he gets done, he's back to his sulking.
Is the sensitivity just during this COVID-19 or throughout? What I assume is throughout. So what happens, children who are usually sensitive, whenever a stressor comes in their life, whenever it's a difficult situation, they get more worried, they get more anxious, and automatically these behaviors
And
start coming up.
there is an addition to that question. There is a look of incompleteness in him. How do you handle such kids?
There's a look of incompleteness. Yes, what I feel is he's anxious. You need to speak to him. You need a tip I'd like to give to everyone. If you want to know what your child is thinking, what's the age of the child? You say 11-year-old, right? So the around this age, you can know what's going on inside the child's mind. We do the CAT, child or perception test. What is there in that is we give some stories, give some pictures, and the child has to make stories and tell. He has to or she has to tell us. So in that, what happens is there is nothing in that card. You can get those cards online also. But the child, whatever is there in the child's mind, he'll make a story out of that and tell you. If the child is worried because of a particular thing, automatically he'll make a story. If the child is afraid of something, if the child, whatever may be the fear, or he has been exposed to something unwanted, automatically that will come up in that story. Play, make believe play with this child if it's possible, if it's age appropriate for him, according to him. You can, whatever toys he has, if he has those Avengers and all, you can sit and play with them, keep one with you, keep automatically. He cannot, these children cannot make up stories. Whatever is in their mind, they'll put it in the form of a story and they'll tell you. So what exactly is going in that child's mind, what exactly is the fear, you have to come to know that. And if you do this CAT, or which you parents can do easily, let him make stories, bedtime stories, let the child make stories and tell you. Automatically some form of fear or whatever it is, it will come in the form of some displacement. He'll put it on something else and he'll tell you. And you can come, once you come to know what exactly is the fear this child is going through, then you can speak to him, spend time with him, reassure him. Whatever fears he has, maybe he's afraid I'll die, or he must have seen the news channels which are going on and everyone's watching together, so so many deaths and all. Maybe he's worried because of something. So if you have to address what exactly is the fear that child is going through, and when he gets the right answers and he gets proper assurance, automatically these symptoms should go off.
Right, moving on to our next question. I have another question coming up here. My second daughter behaves very kiddish. She is 7 years old and get very annoyed very fast.
Second daughter behaves, what happens usually is there's sibling rivalry many a times. Maybe she has emotion management issues as such, so you need to work on her emotional intelligence. What we usually do is we work only on the IQ, not the EQ and social intelligence. Emotional intelligence and social intelligence, they are very much important, which parents need to work on, teachers need to work on, because children lack in them and they are not good with interpersonal relations, or they are bad with handling emotions. So what exactly, maybe if she's having some sibling rivalry, you have to address that issue. You, maybe parents feel okay, we are being equal to all our kids, but the child does not perceive it that way. Maybe something somewhere is going wrong. You have to address that issue. You have to speak to her, get whatever thought she has, you have to correct it. And one thing, while behave, when a child throws a tantrum, you don't have to pay too much attention. You just have to ignore that tantrum, or else that the child gets, even negative attention is attention. If the child gets attention, the child automatically, that behavior keeps on increasing. So you have to handle it accordingly.
All right, so this is more specific. It says the Ramadan is coming up and how to keep our children busy in Ramadan.
So yes, just another 14, 15 days to go. Ramadan is there. This is a very good time. You can keep the kids engaged. The way I told you now, right now, but it's going to be a bit different. If they are of the age they can fast, let them fast. And I have a lot of activity books for Ramzan, which I have given these people, our voice people. They'll display it on their page. A lot of PDFs, lot of worksheets. You can have a planner for the whole month. Every day, day one, you're going to do this. Day two, let them get involved. Let them set the table for the iftar. Let them help you in washing. And all the prayers you all can have together. All the five prayers you all can have together. You can sit and do some talim together. All this will be really helpful, and you can keep the way you can keep them engaged right now there also, but a bit of more religious activities you can get them involved in, and let them watch cartoons. Okay, not these. You're going to watch only prophet stories. You're going to watch Ikra cartoons. You're going to watch Abdul Bari. That's how you can keep it for the month.
Thank you, doctor. One more question here. Kindly suggest some reading material for counseling during pandemic.
For counseling during pandemics, I again, you don't have to be afraid of this pandemic. You have to be cautious. You have to take all the precautions. You have to maintain social distancing, maintain hygiene. And as it is, the children are at home, parents can be at home, don't go out, stay at home. And you don't have to be afraid. Okay, with all the huge numbers seeing on the television, everyone's about to panic, like, okay, so many deaths, so many positives, every day the figures are increasing like anything. So you don't have to panic, you just have to do what's possible and pray a lot, because after all, this is God's plan. And one book I would recommend, which I've given to these people, they'll display it on their our voice page.
Thank you, doctor. One more question here. This is again, I think, related to the some of the previous questions. It says how to help children to overcome this corona tension.
How to overcome this corona tension, how to help children overcome this corona tension. So you have to make them aware. They are not aware what is this coronavirus, why so many people are dying, why all of a sudden we are at home. They have so many questions. Children are very much curious. They want to know. Answer all those questions. Give them valid answers. Give them scientific answers. Give them explanation for everything with scientific basis. Search for information and answer those questions. Teach them all the precautions that need to be taken. And once they practice hygiene, social distancing, sanitization, and they're not going out, they don't need to be worried. And like, keep them engaged throughout the day so they're not free. And you don't have to express like, okay, I am very much anxious. Automatically they'll imitate you. So you have to keep your calm and you have to handle kids.
Right. One more question here. This is related to the screen time. How much screen time is permissible? Some guidance on that.
How much screen time is permissible? Um, Depending on the child's age and what he is used to. You cannot have a standard fixed thing for everyone. If your child is watching, like children are watching 4 or 5 hours a day, no. Of course, that's not advisable, but something within half an hour to 1 hour should be okay. Especially younger children, we would not expose them too much to these mobile phones and all, because their skulls are thinner, their bones are weaker, so all the radiation they get. So keep it to minimum. If you can keep it to 10-15 minutes a day, nothing like it. But if your child does not agree, keep it to a fixed minimum. Whatever lowest possible you can keep, that would be the best. Still, older children you can have up to an hour or so. There are no standard fixed timelines as such, but you can decide whatever the lowest you can keep, that would be the healthiest.
All right. We have one more question coming up. It says how to make children schedule from morning to evening. And it also says that do you have any book or guidelines on that?
You can schedule, okay, get up at this time, you have exercise time, you have studying time, you have household chores time, you have prayer time, you have time with parents together, you have reading time, you have play time, you have cooking time. And I have a book on that I already told, Know Your Child, which is available on Amazon. They will be sharing the link here again. So you can go through that book. It explains in detail most of the things which you want to know.
All right. Thank you, doctor. I think we have pretty much covered most of our questions. And I think we are done with our time also. I would like to thank all our participants for joining us today. We'll be sharing the links of the reading material that doctor has said. We'll share that with you over email. Also, do let us know your feedback. Your feedback is very crucial for us. We intend to do a lot more sessions on this topic. The next one we are planning on addiction with another mental health expert. Do let us know what do you think about that, and we'll we'll put up the schedule for that session very soon. With that, thank you so much to Dr. Sana. Really appreciate your time. And thank you for being patient with us, answering all the questions. And to our participants, if you are interested in having any one-on-one sessions with the doctor, do let us know and we'll be happy to schedule on your request. All right. With this, thank you so much again. Stay safe, stay healthy wherever you are. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.